Good day, everyone. My name is Mphuthi. I am a chief servant at the Soweto Business Access, which is an advocacy group which was established as far back as 2015. When we established SBA, we established it because we believe that townships are an area that required a lot more attention from government in terms of leveling the economic playing fields. And I'm happy to inform you that as of the 29th of April 2022, our beloved Premier in the form of David Makhura has promulgated what is now known as TIDA, which is Township Economic Development Act. That act is a very important act because it tries in all affordable and available resources, tries to level the playing fields that are going to make sure that what started during the apartheid era, where townships were seen as sources of labor, can now be perceived as contributors to the economic landscape of the country. Townships, by their design, were meant to serve the interest of a minority. But through the TIDA, we are happy to see our government saying that township need to be self-sufficient. And as a result, we are happy to say we are hand in hand with the government to make sure that people like yourself will never experience what our mothers, our grandfathers have been subjected to during the times of apartheid. Now, in my case, I am known as a social entrepreneur, meaning I subscribe to the thinking that I am because you are, meaning it is our effort as social entrepreneurs to first establish what people need so that we are then able to talk to those needs. Meaning, if you look at people like Jack Ma, who established Alibaba, when Alibaba was established, it was not established as a business. It was established to provide a service to Chinese people and Chinese products to find global markets. Naturally, it was something fairly new and caught a lot of people off guard. They did not understand what the internet was. But because it was not a business, Jack Ma and his colleagues were able to withstand whatever criticism people leveled at them. Because it was not a business, it was a service, Jack Ma and his colleagues were able, over a period of time, to be able to craft solutions that are meant to service the people of China. Now, as you and I speak today, we are with a government that is largely trying to be good to a whole lot of people, especially the most vulnerable. You'd all know of what is known as SASSA, which is the South African Social Security Agency. So you'll bear with me if I've butchered that name. But SASSA is an agency from the Department of Social Development whose purpose is to be able to look after the interest of the most vulnerable. Now, if you look at 2016 or so, SASSA, they had just over 10% of the community was dependent on SASSA. But as you and I speak right now in 2022, we are looking at a situation where there are over 20 million South Africans who are getting their grants from the Department of Social Development through SASSA. Now, you and I may see that as a problem, but if you are a servant to the people, you will try and find ways in which we can be able to turn this into a market. Imagine a market which generates money without fail every month. Why can you and I not be able to service that market? So I am challenging everyone that is attending to be able to work with us, to be able to craft ways in which we can change the current situation. You'd remember that a week or two ago, the South African Post Office said they no longer want to service people that are earning SASSA grants in the form of the 350 SRD. So what that means is the post office has left white businesses to be the only people that are able to service a majority of black people who are SASSA beneficiaries. We are not going to complain about it. We as social entrepreneurs, we do not complain, we come up with solutions. So that's why I am asking you, in line with what Pool and Jasmine are pushing through EPF, where they talk of partnerships. We are looking for ways in which young people can forge partnerships with the retailers like ourselves in the townships, so that we are then able to service the 20 million people that are getting grants from government. What it means is we need to embrace an environment which is going to change what apartheid defined as business. When apartheid set up businesses, they said people must come to the business. People must go to bricks and mortar. People must get into their cars and go to businesses. But the current environment is one we're in. If you look at the online platform, the online solutions, the business is now going to the customers. So what it means is you and I can be able to create an empire and a legacy, not only for ourselves, but for the next generation, once we are able to make sure that we can bring business to the 20 million people that are residing in townships and villages in such a fashion that we are then able to talk to their needs. Now, having said that, I work with a lady called Lelo Mgijima, who is working on establishing business information centers where each and every ward in each and every corner of Gauteng would have information centers where business opportunities are going to be available for people like yourself who are going to craft solutions for us to be able to service the entrepreneurs, for us to be able to service the SASSA people. And I'm bringing this to your attention so that you can then be able to find ways in which we can be able to not only service the food needs of SASSA beneficiaries, but we can be able to come together and find ways in which we can create accommodation opportunities for those SASSA beneficiaries. As Soweto Business Access as well as Heroes, we forged a partnership with a fintech company called Indlu Living. Now they have developed an app that allows people that are looking for backyard accommodation to be able to find it, using the app. Now that then means people will no longer have to be going from street to street looking for a room to rent. Using a cell phone and an app, Indlu Living has been able to come up with a way in which people can find accommodation. But the beauty and the benefit for us in townships is that because the demand it is so high, it then offers us an opportunity to identify SASSA grannies who are looking for ways in which they can increase their income. And how that works is that we identify pensioners where we build back rooms for free, meaning they do not have to come up with the money to be able to pay for those back rooms. Indlu Living, in association with Soweto Business Access, are able to then build those back rooms. And in the course of building that back room, it means that pensioner then has an additional income to what they are currently getting from SASSA. So all I'm saying is there are ways in which we can be able to make money by looking after the interest of our people. And I'm hoping that during this session that Pula and Jasmine are putting together through EPF, we are going to ignite within yourself, the fire that says you are a child of God, a God that says you are part of an empire, you are part of richness, you are part of a kingdom that is endless in its wealth. But the first thing that needs to do, you need to first seek that seek the wisdom of God, seek first the kingdom of God, and then the empire will come automatically. And the best thing that I can think of, and that I suggest, humbly so, that you need to start with is to serve people. The best way to serve people, let us start with the SASSA beneficiaries. How do you and I come up with the programs and solutions that are going to make sure that SASSA beneficiaries are able to make money? That money can be turned into an asset. That money can be turned into something that can ignite an economic revolution like you've never seen before. Because who knows how many tissue papers are being used by SASSA beneficiaries? Who manufactures those tissues? How much milk and mealie meal do they consume on a monthly basis? And who produces those things? The reality is that being part of the global economy, you and now are now able to be able to compete with brands that are neglecting black townships. And I'm talking brands from all across the globe. If you go to Alibaba, if you go to Amazon, you are able to see beautiful brands that we are wanting to see on the shelves of our stores. But having said that, all I'm asking of you is not to think of business first. I know that some schools of thought, they will tell you that you must set up a business and then come up with strategies of making it profitable. In my case, because I subscribe to a God that says you must serve first, I say serve the people, and in the course of serving the people, you will then be in a position to understand what their needs are, and in the course of addressing their needs, you will then be able to create an empire. My name is Mphuthi. My details, you can find them if you just Google Mphuthi. Alternatively, you can go to sbacircles.co.za. You'll get the rest of our contact details. We look forward to being of service to a new South Africa. This is a South Africa that has got a lot of opportunities, but it can only bear fruits if you and I work as partners. We are not going to go far if we still consider ourselves competitors, but if we are successful because other people are successful, we will then be able to create empires and legacies for the next generation. I thank you.